video, I'm going to make character cupcakes based on Nifty, Alastor, Pentious and Cherri Bomb. So I'm going to begin with my Nifty cupcakes. You'll see a little recipe just appearing on the screen now. So it's 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of caster sugar, creamed together. I'm going to add to that 1 egg and my flavouring, which for Nifty I've decided to use orange. This is essentially based on her colour scheme, and I'm going to add a little bit of powdered ginger just to give it a little bit of spice, because Nifty, if you're familiar with the show, is a little bit of a zany, crazy character. Once those are added together, I'm going to blend them until smooth, and then making sure to scrape the bowl down with my spatula so that everything gets incorporated when I add the flour next. So in goes my 50 grams of flour, and to that I'm just going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So this is a bit of an odd recipe. I've basically scaled it down as far as I could possibly scale it because I only wanted to make a couple of cupcakes. Normally this recipe is 200 grams of everything, 4 eggs, a teaspoon of baking powder. So to my batter I'm going to add a little bit of orange food colouring because I want the cake itself to be a little bit different, a little bit more nifty. So after blending that all together, I'm going to use my large ice cream scoop to put this mixture in 4 cupcake cases. And I do actually have enough so that I can just top up each one with a little bit of extra after I've filled my cupcake cases with their scoop. Once that's done, I'm going to pop that in the oven at 160 for 26 minutes. So next I'm going to make Alastor and Cherri Bomb, and these are essentially the same cupcake base with a couple of tweaks. So as you can see from Alastor's recipe, which is on screen right now, it's essentially a red velvet. I'm just adding a little bit of extra. So to Alastor's I'm going to add a little bit of strawberry flavouring and a pinch of black pepper to add a little bit of spice. Because again, as anybody who's familiar with the show will know, Alastor has a little bit of bite to him. So Cherri's cupcakes will be different in so much that I'm going to add 30 grams or 30 ml of Dr. Pepper, or if you don't have Dr. Pepper, Cherry Coke would work as well. This is essentially because I want her cupcake to mostly be a red velvet, just with a little bit of extra. So as you can see, I've added all my dries and now I'm putting in my wet ingredients, including my red food colouring. I'm going to blend this all together once it's complete, and you may notice the jug on the side. Now that's my buttermilk. So I make buttermilk by adding a little bit of apple cider vinegar into just normal semi-skimmed milk, and that will give the red velvet a little bit of acidity. So once that's all blended together, I'm now going to split this batter in half because I have enough here to do 2 lots of my character cupcakes. So the first step to do that is actually to weigh how much batter I have, and I found that the best way to do that is to just get another bowl, pop that on your scales and weigh out the entire batter. Once you know that, you can then simply half it and tip half of the mixture back into your original bowl. Just like that. Brilliant. So the batter on the left is going to be Cherri's and the batter on the right is going to be Alastor's. So you can see into that one I'm putting some strawberry flavouring and a pinch of black pepper. Now you could add a little bit more if you wanted, I just didn't want to overpower it, but you can still taste it in the final cupcake. Now into Cherri's I'm going to add the Dr. Pepper, but foolishly I didn't add enough flour beforehand to make up for this extra liquid, so I'm having to mix it in now. Probably would have been better if I'd whisked this in. This is actually going to end up a little bit lumpy, but these are just for me, so I don't mind that much. So once I've combined that, I scrape my bowl down, decide I want a little bit more Dr. Pepper because I don't think the flavour is going to come through with the small amount that I added previously. And as you can see, the batter is still nice and runny, so that's okay. Next I'm just going to mix Alastor's up, and this is a little bit thicker because obviously I have added extra liquid. So I'm now going to use the same ice cream scoop to fill my cases. These ones at the bottom are Cherri's Cupcakes, and then the ones at the top are Alastor's. And exactly the same as Nifty's Cupcakes, these are going to go into an oven at 160 degrees centigrade for about 26 minutes. Last but not least, we've got Pentious. Now he was a real trouble for me flavour-wise. I decided to go with a citrus flavour. So as you can see by the recipe on screen, I did 1 teaspoon lemon extract and half a teaspoon of orange extract. And then I don't actually show it, but I did add a 1/4 teaspoon of star anise because I wanted Pentious to have a bit of a licorice flavour. I was doing some research and I found that licorice as a sweet was first popularised in England, and seeing as Pentious died in London, it made sense to me to use licorice, as well as the whole, yellow and black colour scheme he's got going on. So same as Nifty, I've added all of my butter, sugar, eggs and flavouring, and now I'm adding the dries, which I will mix all together. Once that's all combined, I'm not going to bother colouring this batter, I don't think it needed it. I'm going to just use, once again, a spatula to scrape down the sides of my bowl, make sure everything is incorporated, and then using my trusty ice cream scoop, I'm going to put 1 scoop of this mixture into 4 cupcake cases. Now I probably have enough left over to do another cupcake if I wanted, but I don't bother. And again, into the oven, 160, 26 minutes. Now it's time to decorate Cherry Bomb's cupcake. So for her, I've used a pink swirl of buttercream. And to that, I'm adding a fondant bomb, per her name, per her weapon, with a little explosion because I thought that was fun. And then a big part of her character design is her one eye with the cross pupil. And to that I'm just going to add a little sprinkling of star-shaped sprinkles. Again, I wanted them to look kind of explosion-y, and then some pink sprinkles. I didn't show it, but I cored and filled this cupcake with a Dr. Pepper ganache. Next is Nifty's cupcake, and this one is going to be decorated with a 2-tone orange and red buttercream to fit her colour scheme. The cupcake is filled with a chocolate orange ganache. Again, I haven't shown it. Onto the cupcake is going to go her iconic wide eye, as well as her feather duster made out of a couple of pieces of fondant. And I thought this was really adorable. I made a tiny fondant cockroach, which may not be the most appetizing, but it fits Nifty's whole deal. And to that I'm going to add probably the weirdest sprinkles I have in my collection, but they were the right colours, so on they go. I'm very good at this, as you can tell. Now I find it easier just to place these by hand. I probably should have sprinkled these first, which I'm actually going to do with Pentious. And done. So Pentious's cupcake has a yellow and black swirl, There is a licorice ganache in the middle of this cupcake. It's absolutely not my flavour combo that I would eat, but I felt it suited him. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to put sprinkles on this one first. I've just got some yellow and black and white sprinkles. They just matched him the best. And to that I'm going to add his little top hat, which I've made out of fondant, the most adorable little egg boy, and a cog, because his whole steampunky deal meant that I figured I had to put a cog on. And then last but not least, we've got Alastor. Now, Alastor's cupcake is filled with black pepper strawberry jam. It's literally just strawberry jam mixed with a pinch of black pepper. I'm going to pipe a two-toned red and burgundy buttercream and sprinkle on some black glitter. And then on top of that, I'm going to add his teeny tiny little deer antlers, which I'm sure he would be savage about. And then his massive perma smile. Now, I do realise that he has a bit more of a V-shaped smile, but I'd already cut this out and baked it, and it was too late. Now, you didn't see, but off screen I also added his microphone, and I'm just putting on the finishing touches of a few sprinkles. And that's that. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this video. I am a new channel, so if you would hit like, hit subscribe, that would help so much. See you next time.